In the studio with Dr. Oz right now. How are you?
Very well, thanks for having me back.
Yes, the last time you were here, you were doing a health expo here in Chicago. How did that go?
I love that health expo. We saw over 10,000 people.
Wow.
Got a lot of folks screened to make sure they didn't have any of the major things that are holding Chicago back from being the healthiest city it could be. You know, we have a childhood obesity problem here in Chicago, which is about twice the national average. So we wanted to focus on the parents, because I figure if the parents can figure it out, then the kids will learn from them. But it works the other way as well. And I'm back in Chicago today talking for the Chicago Tribune, who's doing a big program on the health of the city. Just trying to understand what the decision makers are going to do to make the place a little healthier. But, you know, ultimately the decision is ours. Each of you hearing my voice right now, and we're going to talk about some of these things, I'm sure, while we're together today, has an obligation, an opportunity, and it's a sacred one, to make sure you take care of that sacred temple you were given.
Now you talk about different things as far as supplements and eating, as well as easier workouts to do. Now a lot of people try to get over and they say, okay, well, I'll eat healthy, but they don't want to work out, or they might work out but they still want to eat whatever. Which is more important if you had to say one or the other? Or
well, like I say, if you're going to try to lose weight, the most important thing is what you eat. You cannot burn off the calories just by exercising. If you want to live a long time, exercise is more important than what you eat even. Because the best predictor of how long you're going to live is your ability to do daily, rigorous physical activity. Listen, we went around the world. I did this for an Oprah show. And we looked at the places where people live the longest. Costa Rica, Sardinia, Okinawa, places we've never gone to, most of us. But I went and looked at these people, how long they live. And there's been papers written around this. They live to age 100 4 times more commonly than folks who live in Chicago, because they have daily, arduous activity, vigorous activity. So you got to figure out something that works for you. I don't want you to go out and work out at the end of the day. I want you to start using the stairs going to work.
right.
I want you to just bring your sneakers, so you don't have those high heels to complain about, and walk as much as you can during the day. And then when you get to your office, take your shoes, your sneakers off, put your shoes back on. Simple stuff like that nudges you in the right direction. And everyone right now can do something. You can sit straight. You sit straight, suck your stomach in, and pull your bottom up a little bit, like you're holding the urine in, right? And there you are, it's good. But when you do that, you tense up all those core muscles, and those muscles are like a metabolic furnace. They chew through those calories that you're eating. So that builds up a core reserve that allows you to lose weight as you eat a little bit less. That's why young men never gain weight. They got a lot of muscle on them. But as the muscle drops away in men and women, of course, you lose the muscle much earlier in life, then that little bit of extra food you're eating begins to accumulate in your thighs, your bottom, your belly, all those places. Exactly.
And now you mentioned the Oprah show. Now, how do you feel about her ending her season in Chicago, her last season in Chicago?
You know, I'm very happy for Oprah. We've known it for a while, that her creative energies need to go in a different direction. She's done so many wonderful things, but she's done what she needed to do in television, as the host of her own syndicated program. Her opportunities now take her into her own network. I think she's going to continue to be very active on the screen. People are going to be able to see her a lot. But she fundamentally is a teacher. And she needs to teach in different venues. Every once in a while, a teacher needs to move to a different school. So that's how I see it for her. I'm thrilled for her. You know, I'm going to be back next week doing some stuff with her for near the finale. It's, you know, it's a fun, celebratory. It's like a New Orleans funeral.
Right.
Everyone's happy. It's going in the right direction.
Great send-off. A surgeon, author, host, commentator for your own daily television program. What accomplishment do you still have on your to-do list?
I have to make my wife happy. That's like
That's an ongoing.
That's an ongoing full-time task. You know, it sucks the chi out of you. No, I've been married at least 26 years. I love her dearly. The best thing I ever did was to marry Lisa. And the things that I have to do in my life aren't. They're not all pleasure-related, but a lot of them are. I mean, I've done my share of heart operations. I spent a good part of my life doing things that I thought were important to serve. And I've always often felt that I haven't spent the time I need to spend with the kids. So this summer, we're taking a world tour.
Oh,
the show is in 80 different countries.
Oh,
so I'm going to travel the planet, starting off in Europe, then go to Asia, go to China and Australia, Fiji, all these crazy places where part work, part play. I'm going to see a lot of people, take my kids with me so I get to see them in a different light. And then I'll be back here in the fall.
A marriage that's lasted since 1985, correct?
That's right.
What's the key to a healthy marriage?
The most important advice I can give anybody who wants to stay married is recognize that you have to reinvent the relationship every 7 years. And it sounds like a biblical number, but it's there for a reason. The fact is you have chemical handcuffs that hold you together in the first couple of years of marriage. They're supposed to be like that, right? The woman's got all this oxytocin flowing around, the guy's got the desire to be with her, they make children, and then when the children are 6 or 7 years of age, those chemical handcuffs come off, people begin to split up. So either you reinvent the relationship or you'll go your separate way. So I've been married to 4 women. They have the same name and social security number, but it's 4 different people. And the reason, fundamentally, is guys marry the woman they want to marry, and she's perfect, and then she wants to change. And women marry the guy they think he can become, and then he won't change. So you've got a tug of war from the day you're married that has to be resolved. Every 7 years you come back together, figure it out, and then you got 7 more years of good stuff.
So speaking of marriage and relationships, Friday we're talking about how sex could kill you.
How do you like that? Isn't that crazy?
I don't like that. That's not good.
I spend most of the show bragging on how wonderful it would be to have even more sex, and blaming the guys who don't carry it out like they should because they're risking their lives by not having sex. But it turns out there are some cases where you are risking your life by having sex. Now, it turns out that a lot of times it's from doing it in a strange place, strange location, strange person. So the exotic nature of the event pushes some folks over the edge.
Right.
But there are some tips I want to share with everybody about whether they're at risk for heart disease. Things like their waist size, which you never want your waist size measured at your belly button to be more than half your height. If you do, that means you got extra belly fat on board. That belly fat can poison your liver, which raises your cholesterol. It can block the ability of insulin to work, causing diabetes, and it can put pressure on your kidneys, leading to high blood pressure, because your kidneys regulate your blood pressure. So if you have that problem, then you have increased risk of heart attack. So if the only time you exercise is when you have sex, that's when you're going to have the heart attack.
Wow.
So I want you to get physically active enough. The stress test for sex is 2 flights of stairs. If you can bound up 2 flights of stairs without much of a problem, you're good to go. If not, you ought to consider some simple precautions. For example, and we're talking about this all day on the program, maybe you want to separate your last meal from when you have sex by an hour or 2.
Wow.
That will at least conserve the blood flow so it can go to the heart instead of the gut.
Kind of like you should wait at least 30 minutes before you go swimming after you've eaten or something like that.
It's sort of like that. You know, it's not the worst mistake to make if you don't do it. But if you want to be precautious, not a bad thought.
Okay.